Hi there, I'm coming to you from my room in the beautiful Langdon Hall Country House in Cambridge, Ontario. My husband and I are here celebrating our 17th wedding anniversary, and I'm going to bring you our full review of every aspect of this place. I can't wait for you to join me. Hi there, my name is Jen if you're new to the channel. We talk all things Canada here, and normally I talk about living on less. But you know what? A stay at Langdon Hall is decidedly a fairly expensive choice. However, for the high price it does cost to stay at Langdon Hall, I felt that it was important to give sort of a review of every aspect of our stay so that I could tell you definitively whether or not I think it is worth the cost. When you arrive at Langdon Hall, you'll notice just how stately the grounds are. The winding driveway up to the main house just is so beautiful. It sets things off really well. We chose to start our stay at the spa actually. So check-in is normally 4 p.m. and we booked massages for earlier in the afternoon, which was just an incredible start to the day. The spa is not located in the main house. It is located just a short walk away, attached to something called the Cloister, which also houses a lot of the guest rooms. My massage was incredibly relaxing. It was the perfect way to de-stress. Coming away from being a mom of 6 kids and all the stress that entails, it was just the perfect start to our day. The spa employs registered massage therapists, so this is a way you can save money if you're looking to. If you or your spouse has benefits through their employment, you can likely claim your massage expense on those benefits. So that's just a little tip that I like to use when we're going away. It adds a feeling of luxuriousness to the vacation without it being a really high price tag because you can claim the expense. Check-in was a breeze. We are staying in the main house in room 14 on the 3rd floor. I imagine this 3rd floor by the slanted ceilings used to be an attic, or it used to be quarters for their household staff. This home and estate was built in 1898. And I believe it's only been in the past 30 or 40 years that it's been turned into an inn. So there are so many historic touches to this hotel everywhere you turn. There is architecture, artwork hanging on every wall that speaks to the history of this place. So a little tour of our room. It was really neat when we came in because when you open the door to your room, at least this room, room 14, you don't immediately go into the main bedroom part of it. It's like there's a little hallway and some steps to go into it. It really helps you feel like you're set apart in your room. And it cuts down on the noise from hearing from other guests as well. There is a beautiful desk area as well as a nice built-in storage area that has storage for everything you need. My favorite part of what was in that storage area was the Turkish cotton robes. They were so soft, they were wonderful to use, to take down to the pool. They just made me feel like a princess wearing them. And that goes the same for all the linens that were in our room, whether it was the bed linens or the bathroom towels. Everything was just so soft to the touch and just had that feeling of really good quality and luxury. There is a safe in your room as well as a refrigerator that is stocked with waters and creamers. There's a really neat coffee station and tea station if you are needing that in the morning. And the bed is a king-size bed in this room with a feather bed topper on it. It was very soft to sink into. I will say in the morning, my husband and I did have some stiff backs, but that's probably because we're not used to such a soft mattress. But if a nice, soft, pillowy mattress is your thing, you're gonna love this bed. There's also a beautiful seating area in this room, as well as a massive flat screen TV that pulls away from the wall. We noticed that these rooms seem to have been redone recently. There are so many modern touches and amenities in them. The one thing I did notice was missing, however, were USB ports for charging. So that might be something that Langdon Hall considers adding into their rooms in the main house. The bathroom, let me tell you about this bathroom. It was amazing. Beautiful tiled floors. I think it was marble and slate, a lovely clawfoot tub, and the shower was outstanding. It was quite an experience getting to bathe in this shower. And they used top-of-the-line toiletries as well from the White Company of London. So by your sink, and in your shower you'll find these toiletries. I just felt so pampered in this room. The commode is kind of a separate area, which is a really nice touch. We felt while we were here that the staff really do go above and beyond. So when we came into our room, there were some lovely Danishes. I believe they were like an almond croissant with an orange and chocolate butter on them. They were so delicious, with a little happy anniversary card to go with it. So if you're coming to Langdon Hall, make sure to tell them if you're celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, and you just might get something special as well. One thing I really liked about this room, and it's a small thing, but they still use like the old-fashioned key system. You don't have a card that you swipe, you get a physical key, and it just added to the feeling of being in a historical home. There were also some very high-end additions to this room, or what I felt would be high-end. For example, the hairdryer in the drawer is a Dyson hairdryer, which if you know about Dyson hairdryers, they're very expensive, and they not only had the hairdryer, but all of the attachments to use with it as well. So that came in really handy when I was getting ready for dinner. They also have the Bose speakers, and all of the plants in the room are real, not fake. There's antique furniture, antique artwork, so you can tell that a lot of time has been put into the design of each room in this hotel. So there were two things about Langdon Hall that really stood out to me. One was the staff. The staff at every corner of this place go above and beyond. They anticipate your every move. I mean, when you sit down to a meal, you do not have to ask for your water to be refilled. They will refill that water 10 times throughout your meal. My husband and I went biking, and you know, they were watching for us to come up the driveway with our bikes so that they could take them from us and offer us a water. Every time we came into the lobby, we were greeted, and is there anything we can help you with? Just some good old-fashioned hospitality and service. I loved it. I felt so special. Thank you to the staff. You do a great job here. And the second thing that truly stood out were the grounds, the gardens, the trails. Oh, to me, it is worth the price to stay here just for the grounds alone. I can't even fathom the amount of work that goes into the gardens. There were little trails everywhere, little like secret garden gates you could go through to get to the next section. There were mature trees everywhere, an orchard. There is a kitchen garden that they use food from for their various meals. There are 12 kilometers of biking trails, which we really enjoyed walking and biking on. Their bikes are complimentary, by the way. You can choose a cruiser bike or a fat-tired mountain bike to go for a ride. There were just so many added extras and activities around the place. So where you might go somewhere else that's a cheaper hotel, but then you have to pay for anything extra, this place is just truly all-inclusive. If you take a wander around, at night they have lights hung in all of the trees. They have a bonfire lit if you'd like to sit and enjoy. We even saw fireflies when we were walking back to our room after dinner, which is just magical. There are butterflies everywhere. It's a heavenly place to be. The pool area we found was spectacular, especially because of the service. The pool attendant was so very kind and caring, getting us any towels we needed or drinks. They also offer a cocktail menu as well as a meal and snack menu if you'd like food delivered to you and just charged to your room. The pool was the perfect temperature, had a nice waterfall in it, and the loungers were very comfortable. Almost every single set of loungers had an umbrella if it was too sunny, and even at one point we were out there and it was raining, and we just sat under the umbrellas and listened to the rain and read our books. It was really relaxing. So if you're coming here, don't forget your bathing suit and definitely utilize the pool area. Because this is the middle of COVID-19, there are certain things right now that are currently closed at Langdon Hall that we didn't get to experience, like the indoor hot tub, spa, and sauna area. So I'm disappointed that we didn't get to experience that, but I have heard from family members that it's absolutely lovely. And even if you're coming here not to stay the night, but just to go to the spa, they do allow you to use those spa amenities like the sauna and hot tub and pool, as well as the trails if you're coming. So that's an idea for you, just for a day away to be pampered, even if you're not staying the night. As well, it was really neat to see, because of COVID, the extra attention and effort staff were putting in. So when you pull up into the driveway, we all got a little hospitality box that was filled with hand sanitizer, masks, and a really nice note from the staff, tied with a pretty red bow. They also assured everyone that they were taking so much time to be cleaning surfaces extra often. When we sat down for meals, everyone had the full plexiglass face mask on. You just really got the impression that you were safe and being taken care of. When we left the spa, we got complimentary Langdon Hall water bottles and chocolates, and I was delighted to see when you open up the Langdon Hall chocolate bars, it actually has the main house stamped as a piece of artwork onto your chocolate. So it's just these little touches that made the stay extra wonderful. Okay, let's talk about dining. So when we came, it was kind of funny because we flanked a time. So the first day we were here, Ontario was not allowing indoor dining. The second day we were here, they were. So the very first night, we dined in what's called their summer house. This was an amazing location. I'm actually glad that the indoor dining room was closed. This was beautiful. I don't know if they would normally rent this out for weddings or special occasions. I'm not exactly sure, but the way they have it set up with the timber, with the candles and the lights, it was just a spectacular evening. Because this is where the meal was offered and not in the main dining room, the menu was a little more limited. However, what we had, we did really enjoy. We shared the sea scallops for an appetizer, and then for our mains, my husband had the beef and I had the vegetarian risotto. I will say if I had a choice to do it again, I would get the beef like my husband's. His dish was so delicious. Well done, whoever the chef is. And for dessert, my husband especially loved the dessert we shared, which was the passion fruit bomb. It was very creamy, very good, with a little surprise of passion fruit jus inside the middle of it. It was just very delicious. What made our first dinner meal here so special is that they do draw it out. So it's an hours-long process. I believe we got there at 7 and we didn't leave until after 9. So it was a couple-hour process. They start you out with an amuse-bouche. So the amuse-bouche was called Earth in a Pot, which when they put it down, it was pretty interesting looking. It was a radish from their garden, and the earth inside was a kind of quinoa mix. It was very good. The radishes were mild. I'm not sure what variety of radish it was, but I normally don't like a raw radish, but I did enjoy this one. And then they bring you a bread service, and for the bread service, we had a honey bread as well as a herb bread with sea salted butter. They have a wonderful and extensive drink menu. I had a glass of wine. My husband and I aren't big drinkers, so that's all we had, but it was very good. And then even after dessert, they bring you out a little palate cleanser, which was a pomegranate chew, as well as a little pistachio chocolate cake. This little ending was great. I especially loved the pomegranate chew. It was so good. For breakfast, we ate that on the patio, and we weren't particularly hungry because of the huge supper we had had the night before, but the patio atmosphere was just outstanding as well. It's like there really is no bad option here for locations to eat. And I had the lobster and champagne scrambled eggs, which were just as good as the name sounds. My husband had the country breakfast with eggs and sausage and potato, and we did have some orange juice. I noticed they had quite a good coffee, espresso, and tea menu, but we are not coffee drinkers, so we just chose to have our juice. When we were eating out on the patio, I had to use the restroom, so I asked where it was, and they directed me that it was in the basement, kind of around this weird hallway, and I thought, oh, this is gonna be maybe something about Langdon Hall I don't like. And I was pleasantly surprised to go through the basement, and they've totally redone it in a luxurious way. They've made it kind of a historical homage to Langdon Hall with amazing photographs of Langdon throughout the years, of the original homeowners and gardeners. And the bathroom down there was so beautifully done with dried lavender from their gardens. So you can just see that every area, even when you're at the pool house and you use the restrooms, it's just done in such a way that no detail is overlooked. Every corner of this place looks and feels amazing. One tip I do have as well is, try to extend your stay at Langdon. If you're only here for one night, you can still pack a good punch out of this place. So as I mentioned, we got here yesterday earlier than our reservation to have a massage, which extended that day because once you're done your massage, you're free to enjoy the grounds. Today, our checkout is technically 11 a.m., but we made reservations for lunch at 1 p.m. and we were assured by the staff that we are free to enjoy the grounds after we check out as well, in between checkout and our meal time. So even though this one night at Langdon, it's probably going to cost you, in the $300 or $400 mark for your room, you're going to get a lot out of that. You're going to get a lot of free amenity usage. You're going to get pampered and catered to in such an enormous way. Were there any downsides to our stay at Langdon? Well, maybe the expense is one of the downsides. I already did mention a lack of USB ports in our bedroom, but another thing I would say is on the 3rd floor, there are quite a few hallways we have to go through. So if you are someone with mobility issues, you may want to consider staying in the Cloister area, which is a detached area but looks absolutely spectacular. And if my husband and I stay here again, I'd like to consider staying there because I've heard their rooms are unbelievable as well. Also, getting to that 3rd floor for our room, I noticed a lot of the little hallways and stairs we had to take were kind of a patchwork of maybe old carpets or old decor that still haven't been redone like the rooms have. So that's something I'm sure Langdon will be updating in the future, but that was probably something that wasn't just quite up to 5-star quality in my opinion. And since I like to save money, one other money saver tip is to stay here on a weekday, a Monday to a Thursday. We booked for a Thursday evening, and I will tell you that it's about $50 to $100 cheaper per night to stay here on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as opposed to a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So if you really have your heart set on staying here and you're wanting to find a way to do it for less cost, that's a tip you could use. So I hope you enjoyed this video and picture review of Langdon Hall. I hope it gave you a good idea of what it's like to stay here. And I highly, highly recommend, yes, I think it's worth the price. I highly recommend staying here. I certainly want to come back. I'm really interested to come back in the winter and see it decorated for Christmas. I understand they have snowshoeing available and winter sports as well. And you can sit by their many fireplaces. They have fireplaces in a lot of the rooms that apparently they'll even give you complimentary like marshmallows in a s'more pack so you can make s'mores in your bedroom. So that is something I'm interested in doing come winter time. If you found this video valuable and I answered some of your many questions about Langdon Hall, please do give it a thumbs up. It'll help this video, as well as consider subscribing to the channel. I love having new subscribers who can follow along as I just talk about life in Canada and living on less. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next video. For the least, this is Jen.